Joko Widodo, the president of Indonesia, arrived in China to attend the ceremony of the World University Games in Chengdu. The details from CGTN Xu Xinchen's reports.
It's been drizzling in Chengdu for the couple of days, but it kind of adding a little bit of romantic scenes to seeing the president landing here in Chengdu. The Indonesian president Joko Widodo landed here at the Chengdu's Tianfu International Airport Thursday afternoon, leading a delegation on an official trip to China. During his trip, President Joko will meet with his Chinese counterpart, President Xu Jinping, as well as to attend the opening ceremony for the World University Games here in the city of Chengdu. And the president was welcomed by performances on the tarmac, as well as greeted by Huang Qiang, Sichuan's provincial governor. This year also marks the 10th anniversary for a comprehensive strategic partnership between China and Indonesia. Joko has voiced support for the Belt and Road Initiative and for the concept of building a community of shared future of China and Indonesia. China is Indonesia's largest trading partner and the largest importer of Indonesian goods. Ties between the two countries are also expected to strengthen further under the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Trade Agreement. Joko is also expected to meet several Chinese business executives. Before his trip to China, the Indonesian president also met with the chief executive of China's Hong Kong Special Administrative Region in Jakarta. The two pledged efforts to reduce trade barriers. Meanwhile, the Jakarta-Bandung high-speed railway is also expected to inaugurate later this year a key development project showcasing the two countries' partnership. Xu Xinchen, CGTN, Chengdu.
Meanwhile, Russia's defense minister is currently in North Korea at the invitation of its leader, Kim Jong-un. Sherry Hayes reports.
According to North Korea's state broadcaster, Kim Jong-un showed off his country's latest missiles to Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu. The weapons shown off by Kim included the Hwasong Intercontinental Ballistic Missile or ICBM, which is believed to be North Korea's first ICBM to use solid propellant. North Korea invited the Russian delegation led by Shoigu as well as Chinese officials. KCNA news agency said Kim and Shoigu had a friendly talk and discussed matters of mutual concern in the fields of national defense and on the international security environment. Shoigu also presented Kim with a so-called warm letter from Russian President Vladimir Putin during their meeting in Pyongyang. Shoigu also held talks with his North Korean counterpart, General Kang Sung-nam, and said that the cooperation between the two countries has been strengthening in the post-war period. Visits by the warships, officials visit by high-ranking representatives of defense departments, exchanges of delegations at the working level, and personal training have contributed to what Shoigu calls as preservation of peace and stability on the Korean peninsula. Russian Defense Minister General of the Army, Sergei Shoigu, and members of the Russian military delegation laid flowers at the Liberation Monument in Pyongyang. The delegation's visit to North Korea's Victory Day as the 1953 and the hostilities is called in North is expected to finish on Thursday with an extensive military parade. The Koreas are technically still at war because no peace agreement was reached when the conflict ended. The Russian officials' rare visit to North Korea coincided with a trip by a Chinese delegation led by senior diplomat Lee Hong-zong, who also traveled to North Korea for high-level contacts. Seoul, Isabogo, Sherry Hayes, Imnida, SMNI News, South Korea.
Tourists flock to a famous fishing village in Chengdu in Fujian, China for its houses made of oyster shells and women wearing traditional flowery headdresses. Let's hear this story from Jason Rubrico.
A famous fishing village in Chengdu in Fujian, China receives a lot of tourists every day. Xinpu Village is popular for its unique practices and architecture. First, the village is known for its colorfully dressed women with flowery headwear, traditional Chinese garments, and wooden sabots.
Chinese girls is chasing for beauty, and this garden in their hair is a symbol of a beauty. So they like the lifestyle, or they like the garden in their hair.
Since Chengdu is one of the important port cities on the maritime Silk Road, the flowers worn by Xinpu women originally came from Arabic countries. In 2008, the said practice of women was recognized as a national intangible cultural heritage in China.
Bukod sa mga nagagandahang headdress na sinusuot ng mga kababaihan dito sa Xinpu Village, kilala rin ang lugar sa mga bahay na gawa sa oyster shells. Ayon sa taga Xinpu, nagsimula ang pagtatayo ng mga oyster houses noong Song at Yuan Dynasty.
It's very rare from the whole country. They are made of the oyster shell, and it's kept warm in the winter and it's kept cold in the summer. So it's very amazing and impressive.
But the oyster shells used to build the houses did not come from Chengdu but from Africa. In ancient times, the Xinpu people traded goods with African countries. They went there with silk and tea and returned with oyster shells to increase the weight of their ship and prevent capsizing. Besides China, most of the tourists here come from Japan, South Korea, and other countries in Southeast Asia. For God and my beloved Philippines, I am Jason Rubrico, SMN News.